Now the first thing I'm going to do for this very simple look, I'm going to use the color Brulé from M.A.C, which is basically just a skin tone color. And I'm just going to use a stiff flat brush. And you want to apply that on the lid all the way up to the brow bone. So we really want the eye to be just one base color. As you can see, I went all over with the hair also. I want it to be pink. Just like the photo. You know how I do when I do Gaga. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, I've applied foundation in my brows just to lighten them a little bit. And with that same shadow, so I'm taking Brulé, I'm just going on top. Of course, her brows are blonde in the photo, but I will not bleach my brows for that, sorry. I wanted to do this look because one, it's really easy, but it has somewhat of a wow factor when you look at it. When I saw the cover for that Vogue, I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Next part is going to be very simple also. I'm going to use the blush from M.A.C called Buff, which is the blush I use for contouring. I contour just a little, and it's also going to act as our blush because there's not a lot of blush in this photo, maybe a very, very light pink. But anyways, back to that color, Buff. You want to take a fluffy brush like this one, and I'm just gonna go right underneath the brow and define my crease just a very tiny bit. In some other shots of the magazine, like from that shoot, you can see there's a little bit of pinkiness through the eye socket, so this is what I'm doing, just very, very lightly. I'm also going to run a Buff right on the side of the bridge of the nose just for contouring purposes. Now because I've applied a little bit too much right underneath the brow over here, I'm going to use my Mineralized Skin Finish Natural Medium. Take a little bit and just run that right on top, which will diffuse the color a little bit. Next, we're going to take Crystal Avalanche from M.A.C, which is just a shimmery white color. I'm going to take the same fluffy brush, so this one. And you want to apply that right in the tear duct area. And apply it quite generously because, like I said, in some photographs from the shoot, it seems that the inner corner is a lot lighter than the actual lid, and it's quite shimmery. So after that you've applied Crystal Avalanche, go ahead and use the Lise Watier Folie Blanche, which has a lot of shimmer to it, and it's the exact same placement. So right in the tear duct area. Now next step, I'm going to take Copper Plate from M.A.C, which is basically a brownish gray color, and I'm just going to use an angle brush. This one is the 266 from M.A.C. And you just want to line the lower lash line. Next, just to diffuse a little bit, I'm going to take a pencil brush. And you just want to diffuse that color so it's not a very harsh line. Next, I want to take a matte black eye color. We're going to use the same pencil. And just the trick that I usually do when I apply false lashes, I just press that color right into the roots of the lashes. Now next step is very optional because I don't think she used any false lashes, but I have very, very small eyelashes. So I'll be using lashes today. I'm going to use those over here, which are very, very natural. I'm sorry I don't have the number, but go for something very, very light that has a little bit of length. So I'll be applying that. So I've applied the lashes and applied a coat of mascara. Now make sure you don't apply anything onto the lower lash line because from the photo I don't see there's anything on there. So I think there's a tiny bit of highlight on the face. So I'm going to use the Lise Watier Folie Blanche, and I'm going to use just a synthetic brush like this one. This is the Sigma 131. Just want to take a little bit, just run that right on the cheekbone. And this is basically it for the face and the eyes. Now let's move on to a very important step, the lips. So first off, I'm going to line my lips with the lip pencil from MAC called Nightmoth. Then you want to fill in your lips with, of course, the same pencil. Now on the lips, because they are very glossy in the photos, I'm going to use a lip gloss from MAC called Newberry, which is basically the same color as Nightmoth. So now I'm going to go back to the blush actually, because I've looked at some more photos and it looks like there's a little bit of pink in there. So I'm going to use the blush from MAC called Dame. And I'm just going to use a very, very small amount. I just applied lipstick on my iPad. Oh my god. It's so cute! Look! It's right there. So hold up.